What's up? 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 It's your boy Domuto. We're back with another video today. We're watching What If Goku Was Evil Part 15 and 16. Obviously, we're watching the finale. Yes, sir. It's been a great story. I'm so glad I picked this back up, actually. So shout out to, I want to say, was it Burt Jones? I believe they asked me to pick this back up. So yeah. I'm ready to get into it, man. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Shout out to Saiyan, and let's go.
After gaining this brand new
Bart
power,
Jones.
Turles'
Bart
conquest continues. He's waiting for them. He can't sense their energy anymore. He doesn't know where they've gone, but he just assumes they're in hiding somehow. And even when he tries to use high-powered scouters to try and scout everything across the universe, he can't sense Kakarot or his friends. But one day, someone attacks the Neo Crusher Corps. On one of their planets, a spaceship lands. Soldiers immediately surround it, but for some reason they just all fall to the ground, seeming like they had their life drained out of them. An old, decrepit goat man steps off the ship.
No.
This place will have just enough power for him, especially that one person he sensed, Turles. If he could steal Turles' power, surely he'll be unstoppable. This is Moro, the Planet Eater, the original Planet Eater before Turles. When he gets word of an intruder, Turles and Broly head down. Seeing this man standing there, Turles and Moro's eyes connect, and Moro wastes no time. He lifts a hand up. A plume of lava shoots out of the ground. A perfect distraction as Moro jumps through it, then grabbing onto Turles. He holds Turles up, but Turles kicks him in the stomach, knocking Moro back. And it's strange. Moro should have been able to steal his energy just now, but he couldn't. He grabs a nearby soldier, telekinetically pulling the soldier towards him as he drains the energy out of him. And Turles can see and sense all this happening. Wait, is this another magic user? And Moro confirms he's the greatest magician of them all.
Oh, because he
Turles
got that
laughs.
boost shit in
He's
him.
not so sure about that, but this is interesting. Imagine if he took this guy's power somehow. Broly gets ready to attack too, but Turles says he's going to need to sit this one out. Turles can already tell. This guy could steal people's energy, and Turles tells Moro that's his job. All these planets under his conquest, all these places that he's been to, that energy belongs to him. The two clash, and Moro's absorption still doesn't work against Turles. And Turles lets Moro in a little secret. That little technique of his probably would have been helpful, but little does Moro know, he has the power of Majin Buu inside of him, all that magic. And he could feel Moro trying to steal his power, but he was able to resist it. Majin Buu? And Moro could feel that power in him. Part of that power of the Grand Supreme Kai as well. He doesn't even have time to question what's happening, since he's pretty much no match for Turles, even in his base form. Without being able to take any energy, Moro can't grow any stronger, and he's defeated right away. Turles would have loved to take his power, but he's not so sure how to yet. From having the abilities of Majin Buu, he could feel that he can absorb people, but he's just not sure how to utilize his powers yet. He has them within him, he just doesn't know how to access it. Had Moro arrived a few weeks later, maybe Turles would have a hang of it. But he couldn't just have this guy waiting around, absorbing all his soldiers while he tries to learn this technique. Another ship lands nearby. The soldiers get ready to attack it, but they see the insignia on the side. It's the Galactic Patrol, and just one person steps off. And Turles chuckles. Does the Galactic Patrol think they could stop the Neo Crusher Corps, especially with just one person? But the man speaks. He was just here to find Moro. But it seems Turles has already solved that issue. But Maris also has a second motive of being here. It's good that Moro's gone, because now the others won't have to worry about him. He's acting kind of as a beacon for Whis, and as he waits there, a pillar of light appears nearby. Whis enters in with Kakarot, Raditz, and Granola. Also, Beerus is there too, just because he kind of wanted to watch the fight firsthand. Whis covertly thanks Maris for keeping Turles in one spot, and Turles has no clue what's going on. But Beerus introduces himself. He's the god of destruction of this universe, and these are his students, or Whis' students, for that matter. He's heard this guy's been causing a lot of trouble for them, and now they're gonna have their final encounter. And Turles thinks this is pretty humorous. He's heard of the god of destruction, but if anything, he's the new god of destruction here. Beerus doesn't take too kindly to this. All that power's getting to his head, making him too cocky. Normally he'd erase someone on the spot for saying something that bold, but he has to leave Turles for these three.
Turles was a little confident now. I like
these
it.
Saiyans, then beat him, and maybe Turles could be considered a god of destruction by then. The group's surprised to hear this, but Whis says he's just trying to rile Turles up. The fight is necessary for the brothers, and acts as a test for the three. Beerus wants nothing held back for them, so he wants to make Turles go in as strong as possible, using his full strength. Turles then turns to the others, smiling. He's glad to finally see them again. Kakarot, his old partner. Raditz, that weakling that escaped a while ago. And this Reeally who he doesn't really know. Seems they have a new friend, but he tells them it's hopeless. They won't be able to contend with him for now. And Kakarot simply says Turles is pathetic. He keeps relying on all these other ways to get power. He's not even himself anymore. He's been spending all his time consuming power from stars and planets, but little has he realized that power has consumed him. It's not the other way around. Sure, he and Raditz took some shortcuts with their godly ki, and Raditz had to eat that fruit during their last battle, but it was out of necessity. They've gained their strength through their own ways, through hard work.
Talk your
They've
shit.
obtained
Talk
right,
your shit.
and they know how to utilize it properly. Turles doesn't care. As long as he reigns supreme, it doesn't matter how he gains the power, it's just a means to an end, and that end justifies the means. They don't realize how strong he's grown, both in power and influence, and he wonders, how would have things been if he and Kakarot actually stuck together? Well, he knows Kakarot probably would have made a move against him, but if they actually remained as colleagues, the Crusher duo. It doesn't matter now though, he already has a new partner. He calls on Broly, glad to finally formally introduce him to the others. This is Broly, his newest partner and his strongest soldier, a Saiyan stronger than anyone else could imagine. Well, stronger than anyone besides Turles, of course. And Turles reaches on his back. There's a pouch there, and he pulls something out. It's a fruit, one from one of the nearby stars. He tosses it to Broly. He's been waiting for Broly to try this, and now is the perfect opportunity. He trusts Broly could handle it, especially with Turles' new power. Broly holds the fruit, looking down, a little bit nervous. And Turles then sticks a hand out at him, coating him in some weird shield. In case that fruit doesn't take effect right away, this will allow him to survive out in space. He knows they're going to take the battle there immediately. And Beerus turns back to the group. Remember what he said before. If they don't win this, he may as well take Turles as his new rival. And Kakarot chuckles. That's not going to happen. The five all ascend up, with Whis and Beerus following nearby, acting as spectators. The group can immediately tell, though, something's weird about that Broly guy. Not just his power, just his demeanor. He doesn't act like any of them have in the past, at least the Saiyans. He seems so different. Turles turns to Broly, commanding him, eat the fruit now. And Broly doesn't really want to. He doesn't know how it's going to affect him, but he doesn't really have a choice here. Reluctantly, he takes a bite of the fruit. His eyes widen. His power soars, far beyond where it was before. A red aura encapsulates him. But that aura, it shifts to a greenish color. He screams as he powers up, growing massively in size. The group can't believe it. What is this strength? This can't just be from the fruit alone. Broly has unleashed his full power, and then some, fueled by the fruits. And this leaves Broly in an easily corruptible state. Turles decides to test something out, trying to cast a spell on Broly, trying to possess him somehow. Broly is unrestrained, but with Turles' magic, he could restrain him,
trying to put the margin on him?
get that power under his command. They have no clue what Turles is doing. They've never seen him try something like this. Broly launches him towards them, the first to fight. Wait, Turles isn't gonna get involved? He tells them there's no need. Broly will defeat them first. The group all powers up. Granola goes into his double red-eyed form, while the brothers go into Super Saiyan God. And this is what happened before. Turles can tell now. This is why he sensed them briefly and their powers disappeared. It was this form. For some reason, he can't feel the energy from it. And Broly's strength is immeasurable. But with three of them fighting him at once, they feel they have a shot at victory here. They have excellent control over their godly powers, too.
Okay.
And even though Broly's being controlled by Turles, he's still a little bit of a loose cannon. He has a specific target in mind, but he's fighting sloppily. This is one of his first true battles, the first time he's unleashing his full power as well, not to mention the power of the fruit of the Tree of Might. It's only natural that he won't be able to handle it immediately. Turles watches on, confident. He had a feeling that Broly probably wouldn't be able to defeat them. It doesn't really matter though. He already has a backup plan. As the fight goes on, he starts trying to morph himself, trying to practice with Buu's power. He's only had a little bit of practice with this before, and he was hoping he'd have a little bit more time. And then he sees, he's able to do it. His hand, it turns into goo. He's able to stretch it out, make it to whatever shape he wants. He partially was using Broly first as basically an appetizer for them, but really, it's a way to buy him just a little bit more time with this power. As Broly continues fighting, he slowly is losing energy. It's just like what Raditz experienced before. The power of the fruit is too much to handle, even with a body like Broly's. His energy is depleting fast, although his full power form is still there, still strong. But they can actually see the energy leaking out of Broly. Besides just that green aura around him, there's a fiery aura, one that was pretty large before, but is shrinking with every second that passes.
Okay.
It's a flame burning out, and they could use it as an indicator to see how much power Broly has left. The three are able to defeat Broly, knocking him unconscious as he floats out there in space, with Turles surprised. Damn, he just needed a few more minutes. And surprisingly,
You trying to absorb
they don't
Broly?
kill Broly immediately. Well, Kakarot decides not to, and Raditz is surprised. He asks why, but Kakarot says there's no point. It would be cowardly to kill him while he's in a state like this. And also, there's something strange about him. He was being controlled by Turles. He wonders if maybe he could be spared. It was very apparent that he didn't want to be there, and Raditz is surprised. The old Kakarot he knew probably would have just killed Broly on sight, but he's giving this other Saiyan a second chance. Although
Kakarot a good nigga now, okay.
He's unconscious. Turles then flies up, grabbing Broly. It seems this is working in his favor, and he says they're gonna regret that. They have no clue what he means. What, regret not killing Broly? He's not gonna do anything. He's unconscious. And Turles says it's not because of that. He tries his hardest, trying to use all his power. As he holds Broly, his arm begins
Hey,
to
y'all
morph,
can
turning
fight him
into a
now.
pink slime that wraps around Broly. Their jaws drop. What the hell is this? And Turles begins morphing, laughing. This is his true full power. This is what he's been working towards all this time. An ominous aura surrounds him as the pink slime surrounds Broly.
Boo
There's a
hug.
brilliant flash of light. And then they see Turles standing there. Broly's nowhere to be seen. But Turles looks completely completely different. With this form, he can summon all of his power and utilize Broly's for himself, having absorbed it. He looks at them triumphantly. This is the birth of true Majin Turles. The three fighters attack him all at once, using their godly powers, but their attacks are doing nothing against
more
Turles.
pink now.
He just tanks them, standing there like he took nothing for damage. And Kakarot reiterates what he said before. He was speaking figuratively before, saying that the power consumed Turles, but he was more right than he thought. It actually has consumed him. This isn't even Turles anymore. Turles hits Kakarot with a powerful punch, then grabbing onto him. He loves to take Kakarot's power for himself. They know to not get close to him now, and they don't actually know it, but thankfully for them, Turles can't really use his power too easily, so hopefully they're safe from absorption. But it looks like now they can't hold anything back. Raditz and Kakarot power up, showing off their new strength. Infernal God Raditz and Supreme God Kakarot. And Turles' face twists into a grin. Yes, showcase their full power. This is going to be amazing. No matter what they do, they won't be able to defeat him. Granola tries locating any vital points he can find on Turles, and he can see some, but they keep shifting around, changing. And he notices something interesting too. One specific weak point that isn't changing. He wonders what'll happen if he strikes that, but he's gonna need a little bit more speed. He has Godly Ki, but he doesn't have the same godly powers that the other two have. If he doesn't awaken his power now,
awaken your power, nigga.
Because they'll die here. The three all start fighting Turles, with Granola having a bit of a tough time keeping up. Kakarot launches in, being the first to clash with him. The shockwave from it destroys the nearby planet, with Turles not even caring that so many of his soldiers just die. Raditz dashes around behind Turles, hitting him from the other side. Turles turns around, looking at Raditz too. He tells him it's time to turn it up a notch. He launches upwards, turning into a brilliant streak of light as the three follow him. They start clashing all around the solar system. It's pretty barren, given the fact that Turles had actually destroyed most of these planets with their Tree of Might. And every time they clash, they destroy more of the solar system, causing the star to collapse too. They're moving at brilliant speeds, as Turles tries to fend the three of them off. And everything is shaking. Beerus and Whis watch on nearby. And Beerus is a bit nervous, and Whis asks why he looks so anxious all of a sudden. But Beerus says it's not because he thinks they're going to lose. It's because he thinks they're using too much power. They're going to destroy the universe at this rate. At one point, Kakarot's able to hit Turles with a full power blast, and disintegrates a part of him. But Turles is able to slowly regenerate from it. This comes as a surprise to them. Although it's not terrible, there's a weakness to this. His regeneration was so slow, he still doesn't have a full control of it. And Turles is amazed that he even has this regeneration. But there is another issue with it too. When he regenerates, he gets a Zenkai, feeling empowered from this attack. They need to destroy him all at once. They can't have any pieces of him left. That regeneration could be an issue. If he grows any stronger from it, that's what they need to watch out for. The battle starts.
Oh, they gonna try to destroy him. Not gonna work. Oh,
going out into the vacuum of space between galaxies.
What is Ultra Vegito? What the fuck am I watching?
Fighters, it creates a brilliant explosion, with everyone moving so quickly that it leaves streaks of light across the universe. Kakarot tells Raditz to buy him some time, and he acknowledges. He goes in close to Turles, fighting him one-on-one, with Granola jumping in too to assist him. Kakarot stands there, charging all the energy he can. He stretches his arms out, and in each hand he charges a Ki Blast. He slowly brings his arms together, condensing it, a godly kill driver. A brilliant ring of energy forms around him too as it condenses. He charges all of his energy into it, and then launches it right at Turles. The attack is launched at immense speed, but just in the nick of time, Turles is able to get Raditz and Granola off it, launching his own blast right back at it. The attacks collide, exploding, and it's like everything shatters around them. Beerus and Whis are watching on. They see a portal generated from that. Oh crap. They might have just broken reality. The four fighters all find themselves somewhere weird. Another dimension. Turles doesn't even question it. He launches right back in at them, clashing once again. Each time they exchange blows, the dimension shatters more around them. Turles is
they that strong, man. Okay.
The dimension shatters. They see Beerus, and it looks like Kakarot, but he's wearing some different outfit, and he's in Super Saiyan God. The two of them are fighting. Before they even have time to question it, Raditz hits Turles again. Another shatter. They see Broly fighting some Saiyan with blue hair. Turles strikes Raditz in retaliation. Another shatter. And Turles can recognize Majin Buu? He looks different though. And he's fighting some Saiyan that has an outfit similar to Kakarot's, but not quite. Buu is screaming, breaking reality too. Granola strikes Turles. Kakarot tells him to stop a moment. They have no clue what's going on. They keep going through different realities. They see Kakarot with pink hair fighting Vegeta, of all people? They see some dragon-looking dude fighting a guy with red hair and a tail. A Saiyan, maybe? They don't know. Another clash. Once again, Kakarot, Raditz, and what looks like their father? This is getting too crazy for them. They see Turles in a different outfit, fighting a Turles that has a tail and fur and stuff. They need to focus on their fight, but at the same time they need to get back. Maybe if they just keep attacking, they'll break reality back to where it was before. Turles tackles Kakarot, and they go through multiple dimensions just from this alone. Raditz and Granola try to follow, but they can't. They weren't brought with those two. Turles and Kakarot are alone in their own universe. And there's a man floating out there in space near them. He turns around, shocked. It's Cooler? And is that Goku he's looking at? Why does he have that color hair? He's never seen that before. And that outfit. This is too much for them to handle. Back in that other dimension, Raditz and Granola are there alone. They try and clash with each other, seeing if they can break reality on their own. They didn't realize how strong they've gotten. But they try it and it works. The two of them are each sent to a different place. Raditz recognizes where he ends up. He's on Earth, it looks like. And Granola's there too, but he doesn't recognize the place, and he can't find Raditz anywhere. They inadvertently made things worse, separating each other in different dimensions. Raditz looks around, trying to sense anyone he can, and his power must have set off some alarms because immediately, somebody comes up nearby. It's Kakarot, and he greets Raditz, surprised to see Raditz back in his Saiyan armor. Raditz has no clue what he's talking about. Are these realities each a place where things went differently? They've seen so many weird things. And then someone else flies up, and Raditz can't believe what he's seeing. Is that him? Another Raditz lands nearby. He looks over at Kakarot. Raditz thinks is Kakarot. They might have another Vegeta Black on their hands. Meanwhile, in Granola's dimension, he's facing a similar predicament. He found Kakarot again, for some reason going by the name Goku, and then he sees himself in a completely different getup. Where the hell are they? What even is this? Kakarot and Turles are about to continue their fight, but that cooler that was there with them, he decides he wants to join in too, deciding to help Kakarot. And Kakarot wasn't concerned about Cooler until he transformed, showing off some weird platinum looking form. Is this
hell
Cooler
no.
again? Apparently he's on Kakarot's side, so he's not really going to question. Beerus and Whis are still there in their main universe. Whis is looking through his staff. He can't find them. It's just like Beerus thought. They broke reality, but in a much different way than he expected. At least this universe is fine, but he wonders if they're going to make it back. And this is where we'll leave off for now. Oh yeah, it was evil. Turles looks at Kakarot and that alternate version of Cooler.
The multi-dimensional dilemma.
That they were breaking through dimensions. This isn't their universe. That's not the Cooler that they know. And Kakarot can actually kind of tell us that Ki doesn't feel like Cooler. And Cooler says the same thing. That Ki doesn't feel like Goku's. Kakarot has no clue of who Goku is. And he has no clue of how Cooler's alive when they just killed him. This kind of bums Cooler out. They killed him in another universe? And here he was thinking they were all friends in every universe. How's Goku gonna do him like that? Well, he chalks it up to this being some multiversal thing. But it's much more than that. They're not just in a different universe. They're in a different dimension. A different continuity where events happen completely differently. And it's not just these two either. Cooler prepares to fight alongside Kakarot. An odd combo. This may not be Goku, but in his eyes, it's close enough. Let's go over to Raditz now. Or actually, the two Raditzes. Raditz is in a pretty weird continuity. Well, at least in his eyes. Here, Kakarot apparently hit his head as a kid, growing up on Earth and turning into some guy named Goku. Raditz eventually tried to retrieve him, and nearly died in a fight against his brother, but now lives here and is pretty close with Goku. To distinguish the two, our Raditz will simply be called Raditz, and the other one will be called Survivor Raditz, because that's the series he's from. From what Survivor Raditz understands, they were apparently fighting and broke through dimensions. They didn't even realize that was possible. And Goku has an idea. What if they're able to create a collision strong enough to have that happen again? It could propel Raditz through dimensions once more. The thing is, they were fighting out in space. Not worried about destroying anything around them, which is why they accidentally broke stuff. Survivor Raditz and Goku never encountered this because most of their fights took place on planets that they weren't trying to blow up. So they had to exercise a lot of ki control for that. Well, Raditz tells him he gets the concept of that, but still. That's going to be an issue because if they need a collision strong enough to break dimensions again, won't that blow up this planet too? Not to mention, that other Raditz is going to have to be pretty strong, isn't he? Survivor Raditz laughs at this. He tells his alternate self, go on, show him what power he has. And Raditz goes into his infernal god form. That is absurd. They didn't realize a form like that existed. Raditz tries to explain it. It's a godly version of a form attained from the fruit of the tree of might grown on a star. Survivor Raditz and Goku have no idea of what that means. But it does sound pretty cool.
No.
So Survivor Raditz decides to show off his own power. So if this Raditz knows about godly ki and stuff, he must know Beerus, right? Well, of course. That's how he got this power. Survivor Raditz says he went down a very different path with Beerus. Coated by purple flames, showcasing Ultra Ego. He says Goku has his own unique form too. But Ultra Ego should be more than enough to help you. And Raditz is amazed to see himself so strong in this other continuity. Well, that's expected from himself. And the two are ready to clash. It could be pretty fun. Meanwhile, Granola's facing a pretty similar predicament. He ended up on this planet, Earth, a place that he's heard about from Kakarot and Raditz. Apparently both he and Kakarot were sent here as a kid. Because Kakarot's father of all people sent them here? This is all news to him. Monado never mentioned Bardock still, even after seeing Kakarot.
Well, they do a what if Granola survived story or something?
Which we'll just refer to as Earth
Sent to Earth or some shit?
That's also the scenario he's from. They eventually come to the same conclusion as
I'm
the two
assuming he
Raditzes.
did.
Try and recreate that clash. Expel enough energy to break dimensions and send Granola back to where he came from. That, or use the Dragon Balls. But they have no clue if they'll be powerful enough for that. But Granola has a weird issue. He feels like he doesn't have enough power to actually accomplish that. He's been lagging behind the others, and he wasn't the one to cause that dimensional break in the first place. And Earth Granola's surprised to hear this. Well, he should be pretty strong at least. I mean, he's training with godly ki and all. And surely by this point he has Super Cerulean. Super Cerulean? What? Earth Granola shows off this form. Our Granola had no idea he could even transform. This comes as a shock to Earth Granola and Goku. And Goku steps in. Don't the other Saiyans have Super Saiyan at least? Well, yeah, they do apparently, but they don't really use that form anymore. So that's strange. Granola never got a form for himself. And surely he doesn't have Ultra Instinct either. And that goes completely over his head. He doesn't know what that is either. So both Goku and Earth Granola show that off. And Granola looks on dumbfounded. he has multiple transformations, and it's something that, like, Whis has?
They got
He's
Ultra
completely
Instinct.
lost, physically and mentally here. Earth Granola says his alternate self could obtain this power if he could after all. Obviously it's not going to happen quickly though. But maybe Granola and Goku can just clash together, and that'll be enough to send Granola back to where he belongs. Yeah, that could work, but Granola's kind of annoyed at his weakness. Seeing how strong he's grown in other timelines, and how strong everyone else is around him. Hell, even in this timeline, Kakarot's still strong, even though he went to Earth and like hit his head and forgot who he was and whatever. And apparently he and Kakarot are brothers in this universe too. Strange, but makes sense because they grew up together here apparently. But more so, Granola's focus on the fact that he feels
okay.
weaker.
I think I've seen that. I ain't watch it, but I think I've seen that title.
Ultra Ego Survivor Raditz faces Infernal God Raditz. Those two are at least having fun. Now let's go back to Kakarot. He and Cooler begin fighting together, and it's weird getting used to fighting alongside Cooler. His fighting style is so different. Not to mention, he has some like robot thing installed in him. The Big Getty Star, he calls it. Holy crap, wait, that's the thing that they just blew up. Cooler says it sounds like he was a pretty bad guy in that other universe. And Kakarot says yeah, he was. I mean, he absorbed an entire solar system and tried to kill them with it. And you know what? Cooler respects that. That sounds pretty awesome. Although he assures Kakarot he's not going to do that here. And that's the weirdest part to Kakarot. The fact that Cooler's good here. The guy that died twice against him. The guy that literally came back from the dead just to try to kill them. Albeit unintentionally. And Cooler says he faced an evil version of his future self before. So this Cooler's actually the anomaly.
Okay.
All Coolers are supposed to be evil apparently. But this one vows
Cooler,
no
Cooler.
matter who he is, whether he's Goku, Kakarot, anything. That's one of his greatest rivals and allies. One of his closest friends, even if he's not from this timeline. And more importantly, they're facing some evil Saiyan. They need to eliminate this threat regardless. Turles is restrained by the powers of the Big Getty Star, with Cooler controlling all stuff around him, grabbing nearby asteroids and liquefying them, using it to hold Turles and preventing him from attacking. But Turles is able to break free, and he comments on this. So from what he's hearing, Kakarot's pretty pathetic in this universe. He's some good guy living on Earth, friends with Cooler of all people. And Cooler doesn't take too kindly to this. An insult against him and one of his friends. As this battle continues, they suddenly feel a rumble, which is weird because they're out in the vacuum of space. There's a massive explosion nearby. Someone broke reality again, and Kakarot can't believe it. It's Raditz. Raditz jumps through the portal, and behind it, Kakarot sees that there's another Raditz with purple hair. And then Kakarot's also there too, wearing like an orange outfit or whatever. Survivor Raditz and Goku look through the portal too. So that's how Goku turns out if he doesn't hit his head? Wow, weird. Survivor Raditz lights up a cigar and gives himself a thumbs up. Defeat that Turles bastard, whoever the hell he is. The portal then closes, and Raditz thanks himself. So Raditz found Kakarot, which is good, but Cooler's here for some reason. And Kakarot promises he's a good guy here, apparently. But now they need to find Granola. Where'd he go? And Cooler says there's no time to question that. Just fight this guy. And Turles actually agrees too. Obviously, because he doesn't care who lives and dies. And now Turles is really losing ground. Not only is he fighting Kakarot, but he's fighting against Cooler and Raditz too.
Yeah,
and this version of Cooler's really strong too. Turles has no frame of reference for the other Cooler, but his mind is blown. His Majin powers aren't able to keep up with this. And then he realizes something strange too. His Majin powers give him regenerative abilities, but he doesn't have a complete grasp on them. It's like when he tried to absorb Broly before. It was tough to get control of. He's able to regenerate from minor injuries, but it actually takes a little bit of time to do so, and a good amount of stamina too. Had this battle happened a little later, maybe he would have had a full grasp on it. But he's not going to give up, obviously. But once more, they feel that same rumbling. Another crack nearby. Kakarot and Raditz are elated. That must be Granola. They see a blur of light fly through the portal. And behind it, they see Kakarot wearing that same orange outfit again, with Granola wearing a different outfit too. Both of whom have white hair now. That alternate version of Kakarot and Granola have a confused look on their face. But that Earth version of Granola smiles, and then the portal closes. Kakarot and Raditz look around, and eventually they do see it. Granola's there, but he looks different from before. Both of his eyes are red like normal, and he's surrounded by an intense godly aura. But notably, his hair's a different color. It's an orangish color. With help from his alternate self, and tapping into his anger, he was able to summon some of his latent power, finally awakening a new form that will help him in this battle. He's still not on Kakarot and Raditz's level. This is his first time unlocking a new form after all too, but it's a good stepping stone, and they're glad to see him powered up now. Although he's not too happy to see Cooler. Cooler really hates how he's being judged by everybody. He tells him just focus on that evil dude.
Cooler just a chill guy. He's just a chill guy.
Exactly how to defeat Turles now. He tried to do this before, but didn't have the power or speed to do so. He tells the others to hold Turles off for him, and they do exactly that. Cooler tries to restrain him again, while Kakarot and Raditz, they try and use their powers to hold him in place, binding him with their ki. Turles desperately tries to break free as Granola charges up. Granola then vanishes, appearing right in front of Turles, striking him right in a vital point. The power of this does two things. One, it breaks dimensions again. Hopefully it sends them back home. And two, the strike removes Broly from Turles, freeing him from the absorption. As the four of them are all sucked into the portal, Kakarot looks back at Cooler and laughs, thanking him for helping in the fight. Wondering if you'll ever see that Cooler again. The portal closes and Cooler's left there just dumbfounded. He never even realized that was possible. But he powers down and smiles. Good luck, Goku, Kakarot, whoever he is. And now we follow the four fighters back to where they came from. They're back in their main dimension, actually. Beerus and Whis are still standing there, and Beerus' jaw drops. They're back! He can't believe it! And Kakarot looks over, asking if that's really them, and Beerus says they're in the right place. What the hell happened? And is Granola in a new form? He watches as Granola and Raditz hold off Turles, with Broly floating there unconscious. Well, they'll explain later.
Oh,
but he
knock
asks
the
Beerus and
bitch
Whis,
ass out.
get that Broly guy out of here. He's gonna die in the vacuum of space. Kakarot has something in mind for him later. Turles is fuming. He's losing now. He doesn't have Broly's power anymore. He can't regenerate himself as efficiently as he thought. And these three fighters are overwhelming him. One even grew stronger. His rage is fueling him. His ki burns even more intense than before. An aura swirls around his fist as he charges a powerful attack. He could still win here. He knows it. First, that's reeally. He tries with all his might to liquefy himself again, surprisingly able to stretch an arm out, wrapping it around Raditz and flinging her away. And as ki charges up in the other fist, he launches towards Granola, hitting him square in the face, transferring all the energy through that punch, knocking him completely unconscious. And Granola sent
Damn, Granola.
Planet. And as Kakarot rushes back over, Turles starts facing Raditz. He tries again to stretch his arm out, trying to wrap it around Raditz. Maybe he could absorb him, but as Kakarot flies in, he launches a blast to slice Turles' arm off, freeing Raditz from that, and Turles desperately tries to regenerate the arm, while he tries to fend off the two brothers with one arm. And it ends up working. His arm regenerates, and he does so in a way so it launches towards Raditz, regenerating as he lunges it forward to punch him square in the face too. Raditz is bloodied and beaten, but he's not going to give it up. Everyone's running out of energy, and it took a lot out of Raditz trying to break dimensions on his own, fighting with that ultra ego version of himself. It was worth it because it got him back here, but at the same time, he was a little bit injured from it, and worn out, and that gives Turles an opening to knock Raditz out too, as he plunges towards the planet below. But Kakarot's able to land a blow on Turles, with Turles striking at the same time. The clash of the two knocks each of them back, as they weakly rush towards each other once more. Kakarot delivers a punch, and Turles tries to catch it, wrestling with him, with Turles then delivering a powerful gut punch. He got Kakarot good, but Kakarot then knees him in the stomach, and Kakarot wraps his arms around Turles, barreling down towards that nearby planet where Granola and Raditz were. He flings Turles down to the ground, generating a massive crater. Kakarot levitates there, breathing heavily, and he rockets downwards once more. Turles tries to stand up in the crater, defending against Kakarot as he barrels down towards him. The two are now brawling. No ki blast, just a melee battle. Turles even de-transforms, going into his normal evil Saiyan form. Kakarot de-transforms. He's gone into this too, and Turles chuckles. This brings him back. The two have a fist fight, beating each other down even more and more. Both can barely stand.
I love it.
Bloodied and beaten, Turles coughs up blood, trying to prop himself up again. He weakly smiles and chuckles. Kakarot drops into his base form. Turles does too. Turles tells them, it's time they finish this. Kakarot smiles, and the two weakly run towards each other, cocking their fists back, ready to attack each other. But at the very last moment, Kakarot feels a burst of energy. His hair grows out once more. That evil Saiyan aura reappears. And Turles sees, not too far away behind Kakarot, there's a bloodied and beaten Raditz standing up, who just launched a ball of his energy towards Kakarot, lending his brother the last of his power. Raditz wishes Kakarot good luck as he falls to the ground. Unconscious once more, Kakarot lands the final strike, an uppercut right to Turles' gut, and with the last of his power, he launches a ki blast through it too, tearing a hole through Turles. Turles' eyes widen. He looks down, shaking as he falls to the ground, but also weakly smiling once more. Kakarot powers down again, and the two collapse to the ground. Kakarot weakly tries to prop himself up, crawling over to where Turles is. Turles is desperately trying to regenerate himself, but he can't. He's too weakened. He has no control over the regeneration to do so either. But Turles looks over at Kakarot. After this long, they finally did it. They finally had an all-out battle, and they finally settled the score.
Aww.
He tells Kakarot, surprisingly, he's actually pretty proud of him. A low-class warrior, coming this far. Turles hates to admit it, but Kakarot sought out power purely through effort after they parted ways, and still managed to grow powerful without the same shortcuts that Turles took. The Crusher duo could have been so strong if they stuck together, but each of them chose this path. Turles made his own bed, and he'll lie in it. Kakarot lifts himself up, standing but barely able to keep himself upright, as he looks down at Turles. He doesn't even know what to say here, but Turles tells Kakarot he accepts his fate. This is a warrior's death. He went out doing what he loved, fighting an opponent that was made to battle him like this. They were destined to meet, destined to have this battle, and this outcome was destined. And Kakarot watches as Turles struggles to regenerate that area that was blown out of him. Turles tells Kakarot he's truly changed. He resents it, but he says they're both prime examples of the Saiyan race regardless. With a smile on his face, Turles tells Kakarot well done, telling him to carry that pride with him. And slowly, his eyes shut, and Turles dies with that same smile on his face. Kakarot looks down, feeling conflicted about the whole thing. They did it. They finally won. He can't even believe it. He falls backwards sitting down, and he just sits there, next to Turles' lifeless body. He hears nothing but wind. There's dead silence, but he hears the ground crunching nearby. Raditz, barely able to stand, is walking over, and his eyes widen. He did it! Kakarot tells Raditz, it's weird. After this encounter with Turles, it makes him reminisce. It's not like he regrets not being in the Crusher duo. It just makes him realize all the alliances he started and lost. He's glad to have held on to this one with Raditz at least, and glad to be here with him. But at the same time,
damn,
makes
not my
Kakarot realize
nigga.
what little he has left. They were working towards this goal of power, and this
That
goal of
nigga
defeating
Turles.
Turles. But what now? Where do they go from here? Someone else walks over. It's Granola. And he smiles. He's glad to have found them, and even happier to see that Turles is defeated. Beerus and Whis land nearby, with an unconscious Broly, and Beerus immediately starts berating them. They're lucky they didn't destroy anything. But at the same time, he congratulates them. Well done. That was actually a pretty fun fight to watch. But Granola and Raditz are surprised that Broly's still there, and Kakarot says there was no point in killing him. It's like he said before. And who knows, maybe he could be another rival, a successor to Turles, but someone who isn't like Turles. They don't know yet. It might be risky, but Kakarot thinks it'll be worth it.
It'll be worth it.
And
Broly
Kakarot
cool.
looks over at Turles one
Broly's a
last
chill
time.
guy.
He has a smile. He died doing what he liked, even if it was obviously bad. He had a purpose in life, and he fulfilled it. And Kakarot laments. What are his goals now? Will he be able to find that same sort of solace that Turles found? And as they leave, Raditz looks to Beerus and asks about that power that he saw. Apparently another version of him had purple hair with some form called Ultra Ego. He's never heard of the name, but it sounded like a destroyer's power. Yeah, and then Granola mentions too, an alternate version of him had Ultra Instinct. Okay, that name Beerus actually does know of. But he had Ultra Instinct? Granola? And Kakarot did too? Beerus gulps. He didn't realize Granola had that in him. Same for Kakarot. Not to mention Raditz apparently having his own power? The power of a destroyer? Interesting. He'll definitely keep that in mind. And now everybody actually does have new goals. Broly ends up on Beerus' planet too. He's hostile at first, but they could tell. He's a strong Saiyan, and it would be a waste to just kill him like that. And he was obviously only with Turles because he didn't really have another choice. But Kakarot really wants to see what he's made of. A fellow Saiyan like that. Someone who even Beerus is interested in due to his power. But now everyone's in a new chapter of their lives. Granola wants to aim for that Ultra Instinct thing. Raditz wants Ultra Ego. Broly wants to, well, just fit in here in general. And as for Kakarot, he surprisingly leaves Beerus' planet for a bit, going to Earth to seek answers. He knows exactly who to talk to. His old friend, Tenshinhan. The Crane School guided him to where he was, and he found his own answers. So maybe, if Kakarot consults him, he'll find something for himself. Look at him. He has friends. He's respected. He's found a purpose in life, and he feels content with himself ideologically. Kakarot can't really say he has any of those, besides the friends part. And when he arrives to Earth, Ten's glad to see him again, but he's wearing a completely new outfit, similar to the one that Krillin and Yamcha had. It's orange. While Kakarot was gone, they started a new martial arts school, the Neo Turtle School, led by him, with Roshi providing guidance. And Krillin
you
shouts
ain't
to
even had
Yamcha
your shit
also
on, boy.
teachers too. Those other humans come over as well, wondering why Kakarot's back, and he tells them everything, and they can barely wrap their minds around it. Kakarot remembers back to when he was in the Crane School. It was a bad influence on him, but he still felt like he belonged there. He had a purpose. Training with gods is great, but maybe he'll belong here, just like he did before. His past conquests are over. His search for power can continue, but he really got it to defeat Turles. So where does he go for now? Seeking that power would still be fun, but maybe he needs to seek something else. Those other two Kakarots he saw through those other dimensions, they seemed content somehow. Granted, he only saw them for a few seconds, but still. And Ten smiles hearing this, welcoming Kakarot back. He knows exactly how to help. It's kind of overwhelming though, a godly being like him being here on Earth. But here on Earth, there's more to training than just raw strength, and Ten's excited. Kakarot no longer is going to go down that bad path that he saw as a kid.
Okay.
He's clearly going down a better path now. He's definitely changed. Sure, he still is the same crass, battle-crazy Saiyan that he was before, but more nuanced. Earth really did mold him in a way, and Ten says he should join the Neo Turtle School. It really could help. And you know what? Kakarot thinks that actually might be a good idea. He did plan on staying here for a bit, but he didn't even realize this is how much everything's changed. Ten might actually be his master now. But first, he's gonna need a new outfit. Those Crane School clothes are outdated, and Kakarot's definitely not gonna wear Saiyan armor anytime soon. Kakarot takes some time to change, and walks out in a new outfit. Krillin compliments him, saying the outfit suits him. It's almost like it was made for him in a way. And Ten agrees. He can barely recognize
Man, get off his
Kakarot,
dick, man.
but at the same time, he feels like this is how he should see Kakarot. And Kakarot looks at himself in a mirror nearby. He smiles. He feels comforted for once. He barely recognizes himself. But for some reason, this looks right. And he's more than ready for whatever life brings him next. And here, we end the story. What'd you guys think about this part in the story?
I love it. You know what I'm saying? That's not in my hands. But look, shout out to Charlotte Chance for this video, man. This is a fire-ass story. Fire story. I ain't gonna cap. I did like the dimensions thing where I love that. I love that part. So anyway, let me know what you want me to react to next. If it's a Charlotte Chance story, Smug Stick, whoever. You know, I don't really care. You know, I'll react to it. And, you know, check out the last chapter and check out another story right here. And I'll catch y'all next time, man. Peace.